Hey coaches, it's your founder of Believe to Achieve, Ashton, and I am making this video. I've got maybe about less than 10 minutes to share with you guys some ways to invite to your challenge group or into this coaching opportunity, because I feel like a lot of people have said that they struggle with the whole inviting process. And the first and foremost thing that I'm going to talk to you about is, you really have to get in check with yourself first, because a lot of the reasons why people struggle with inviting is because they don't have that belief. They don't have that firm foundation of belief in their heart. And you can sit there and say like, oh, I know that the products do this for people, and that but is just an excuse. It's just a way out. It's you kind of believe, but yet you don't believe situation. Don't throw in a but in there. What I want you to do is to sit down, and when you're ready to invite for people, one second here. When you're ready to invite for people, I want you to be like, okay, if I invite somebody into my challenge group, if they are focusing, working out for 30 minutes a day and getting their nutrition in check, is their life going to change? Like, maybe you should type out these questions and have them next to you. Because yes, their life will change. 2, if you offer somebody a book that talks to them about, just a personal development book, and they start reading a book 10 minutes a day, is their life going to change? I mean, mine did. I don't know about yours, but yes. If they recognize people and raise people up, is it not going to lift them up too? Like, that's one thing that I heard. I don't know the specific thing, but when you raise others up, you raise the bar for everyone around you and yourself. It's not just, when you're praising other people, it lifts you up as well. And your life changes. And if you're also building new relationships, new connections, meeting more people, being interested into people and their life, do you not think that they'll be interested in you? And this whole value of feeling important, and this whole value of, being able to be like, gosh, I need to make a connection here or whatever. It's just, your life changes, and it's all for the better. So if you sat down and you asked yourself those questions before you invite, you would know in your heart that when you're reaching out to these people, you're doing it because you know that their life could change if they did the stuff that they needed to do. We can't force people to do things. I can't force you to sit down and do a power hour. I can't force you to tell yourself that you're good enough, that you're valuable enough, that it doesn't matter what you look like or what, this and that you could still be a top coach if you believed in yourself. I can't do any of that for you. You have to do it for yourself. And once you start to believe that, when you start speaking those words of affirmation, like, you know what, I'm going to be a top 100 coach. I'm going to build this organization to make 6 figures and take care of my family and be at home with them and be able to support them and be there for their life. Like, when you start speaking those, that's what's what's come up. So first thing, self-check. Write those things down, ask yourself those questions, and then when you go to invite, let me talk about a few ways that you can invite. So, number 1 is just going directly into inviting. So, I downloaded a copy every year, okay? Because I add new people and I take people out. I download a copy of my Facebook data, and in my Facebook data gives me a list of all my friends. So I copy that and I put that in a Word document. And what I do is I go through the list and I will message them. Now, depending on who it is, I may send them a direct message, even if I haven't talked to them in a year. I might just be like, and let me read you what I have. So I may just send them a specific, hey, this is how I feel. So a challenge group invite, and these are all in our Evernote. So if you go to our team files and you see Evernote, you'll find in our Evernote there's a scripts where you can check these out. You can formulate them to relate to you. Keeping the same basic formula, though, is what I would recommend, because it works. So sometimes I'll send to people just saying, hey, how are you? Well, I always add their name. So I'm like, hey, Amanda, how are you? I really hope you don't mind me messaging you about something like this. I don't know if this interests you, but I'm running an online lifestyle journey group this month to help people start, restart, or continue to strive to reach their maximum potential through their health and fitness, as well as mentally and emotionally. So what this includes is workouts, nutrition, motivation, and inspiration. It's never too late to join. Would you or anyone you know be interested in joining? So that's one thing. I send that out to them because I don't feel salesy sending that out to them. I know that their life could change if they come into this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it in my mind. So I don't feel salesy. I don't feel like, oh, I'm just trying to get my Success Club points, or I'm just trying to get this, or I'm just trying to build an income. No, I'm like, I'm changing lives, dude. Come join me. So I can send that to them. Now, there's some people that I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe I want to get to know a little bit more. So what do? You form them. And if you don't know the acronym for form, it's speaking about their family, speaking about their occupation, speaking about their recreation, and speaking about, things that they love, like asking them questions and stuff. And you could probably Google search like form questions, or search Danny Johnson, because she's the one where I heard the form from. She's amazing and wonderful, and it's really getting to know about them, because you'll hear things, like talking about their family. They've got kids and what they do, and maybe they don't like their job. How long have you been doing your job for? What's the best part about it? What would you do? Like, what would be your job that you would do if you didn't have to worry about money? You'll hear a lot of, especially parents, that might be like, well, moms, I don't want to say, and there may be dads too, but they would rather be at home with their children. And when you hear that stuff, that's like a, hey, I just opened a door to this opportunity. Like that door just opened. So instead of closing it, walk into it and give that opportunity. So when you're forming, though, sometimes, and you want to leave like open-ended questions. So you just don't want to be like, hey, how are you doing? Good. That one sentence thing. And you know what? Maybe you have to research some open-ended questions that you could ask people that you'd be like, oh, that's really good. You know what? Because once you start getting some of these down, it's going to be easier for you to, the more that you do it. But, so while you're in this, the best way to open up about this is to still use that script that I just talked to you about, but instead, you're forming them, you're speaking to them, you're going through this and that, and all of a sudden, you throw in, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you, and I hope that you don't mind me messaging you about something like this. You may not be interested, but I'm running an online lifestyle journey group this month to help people focus on their health and fitness. Also, we focus on, through mental and emotional statuses as well. This is what it includes. You can always join. Would you or anyone be interested? You can switch around the words. You don't have to have it as wordy, but something specific about that. And throwing that, by the way, is so great, because you can do that at any time. You can completely throw that out there anytime. It's not going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Again, I don't feel salesy doing it because I know that it can change their life. And I know that I'm meaning to inspire people to make this change because of how my life has changed. I was someone who was so negative and just, oh my goodness, I don't even want to look back at the person that I am, because I don't like the person who I was. And I'm still, to this day, focusing and working on changing myself, and that's through the personal development. That's through my health and and fitness and everything, and finances and everything that we are doing. That's what I'm focusing on. So sending that direct invite. We also have a direct invite for coaching, and I'll just give you a quick example of that one. But maybe you know someone who always posts about positive stuff. You know, they might not be into health and fitness or whatever, but they're always sharing about their life or about positive things, and you really think that they can make an impact and be a great coach. Why not send that to them? And just being like, hey, Amanda, question. I'm not sure if I asked you this because I've been meaning to ask you. Have you ever considered coaching like I do? I know that you would be great at this. You know, I'm always looking for people who keep their Facebook positive and people who have interesting lives that people tend to follow because they really do well in this business. And that's you. You already share your Facebook just as I do, but I also share some health and fitness stuff, you know, and help people with their goals. If it's ever been a thought in your mind, you should definitely consider it. It's been a blessing for me. It's been a blessing for my family. If not, no pressure. And then if they're like, well, yeah, I'd like to know more interest. Well, hey, guess what? We run a coach sneak peek every single month. That's an opportunity for you to give that to them, or an opportunity for you to send them a coaching opportunity webinar that we did. You know, I haven't done one in a while, but these are the things that I want to start pulling together with our team and with our, you know, just really growing. So that's also in the Evernote scripts for you to send. Another way that you can invite is through your Facebook newsfeed. So when you're talking about a Transformation Tuesday, you can pull out at the end being like, you know, you talk about a Transformation Tuesday and stuff and just be like, you know, I don't know how my life would be without this accountability group. Or I know that I really couldn't achieve everything that I've accomplished without this group or without the support. And I'm looking for more people who feel like they just are stuck. So you can use that call to action into your inviting when you post out a transformation group. And even like the breadcrumbs that I've talked about, and this should probably be a whole nother video about social media, but these breadcrumbs that you're doing and stuff, like, let me just tell you what I posted today. It was an 8-second video, and I'm holding up my book. I did it through Snapchat, but I posted it on Facebook, and all I said was I was a bunny, okay? And I'm like, getting in scheduled business time before Christian's doctor's appointment. So what is that telling people? That's telling people that I'm running my own business. So it's a breadcrumb, right? They are seeing, okay, she's running a business, and I held up my book, Rock Your Network Marketing, and I was just like, if I could only read as fast as a bunny can run, my life would be different. Like, how awesome that would be. But when I want people to come to my page and know that that I run a challenge group, or, you know, my journey group, I call it my lifestyle group, and that they can become a part of it. Like, people are a part of this, that they can do that. I need to hit more on our team. Like, I need to start bringing breadcrumbs into our team. So right now I need to start hitting up how we're going to Punta Cana. You know, I got this free paid trip and everything, and how awesome it is. Like, and that other people can join onto this. They can start to build in paychecks and everything. And I don't care if you've only made $10. I don't care what it is that you made, because I remember when I first joined as a coach, and this is probably not an okay thing, like don't do this, like I don't recommend doing this all the time, but every Thursday I was like, woohoo, it's payday. And I'm like, I just made a paycheck, you know, like maybe not specifically like that, but every Thursdays, you know, if you make $10, $20, $30, $40, whatever it may be, speaking about that, being like, wow, this is such a blessing. You know, I'm at home helping people achieve their goals and earning an income. Like, who does this stuff? Like, this is awesome. So those things, those are the breadcrumbs that you can start to leave that, like, I already talked about how you can directly invite, but this is where people will start to come to you being like, what the heck are you doing? And the more that you become intentional about your social media, the more people are curious, right? Like, when you've got a great social media presence and you're adding in those breadcrumbs and people are like, all right, dude, I'm ready to do what you're doing. Like, what are you doing right now? And that might be for the challenge, like your workouts, or it might be for the business. And it just really depends on how much you put out there and what you're saying and what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you, it's so great, because I had throughout, how long have I been coaching now? 6 years? You know, I've had so many people that come to me that are finally like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And I'm like, wow, it's about time. Like, I've only talked to you about doing this for the last 4 years. Why'd you wait? But no, I'm really like, I did say something. I was like, one person I remember, I'm just like, oh my goodness, could you imagine if you would have started how long ago? It's crazy. So that is another way of inviting, is using call to actions, and then also the breadcrumbs, throwing in little breadcrumbs of what you're doing, breadcrumbs about your personal development. I think I threw out on the team page, because I know Lindsay